Right now on Denver 7 News at 5 a.m., new details about the FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago.
There may be evidence of a crime existing at Trump's residence.
The documents confiscated and how the former president and his family are responding.
Back to school is breaking the budget for some teachers. So new this morning, what's being done to make sure their classrooms are ready for your kids?
And a Colorado man is turning up the heat on celebrities. His homemade hot sauce that's now being featured on a popular show.
Post Malone, Kevin Bacon, Khloe Kardashian eating a sauce that I made is really crazy.
Wow, name dropping, but is it too hot to handle? Are you a spicy food fan?
I've been trying to eat hot foods to bring my voice back over the last few days. I lost my voice for 4 days.
Shock the system.
Yeah, but home remedies, if you have any, I'm all for them, yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. It is going to be hot for the next couple of days. Lisa is here with the forecast. Do you like hot sauce, Lisa?
You know, I put Cholula on everything. In fact, I have some in my locker back here if you want to take a little spoonful.
Drink it straight, right?
Yeah, just
clears me up, right?
It'll do the trick. We've got, it's going to be much hotter weather here over the next few days. After some really wet conditions, a lot of flooding that we saw here just a couple of days ago, things are drying out, clearing up. A lot of sunshine expected this morning. Right now, you're going to find as you step out the door, mainly 60s. A few neighborhoods are at right around 70 degrees. Lots of sunshine, though, expected. We had a few clouds overnight. Those are already starting to clear up. We'll be at about 75 degrees as early as 9 o'clock, so get out early. Mid 80s by 11, low to mid 90s here between about 2 and 4 o'clock, so it's going to be a pretty warm one. Denver right around 93, Highlands Ranch 92, toasty for the foothills too. Evergreen, you're at 82, Estes Park a high of 80. Coming up, we've got a long string of 90s here this week. I'll show you when those afternoon thunderstorms do return though to our forecast.
Oh, the thunderstorms, they're coming back. They always come back. They're never gone for long. CDOT was up very late last night repairing this overpass in Meade where a semi hauling a backhoe hit it. That was yesterday. It closed down both the northbound and southbound lanes of 25. Those have both since reopened. Northbound literally opened around 4:20 this morning, 4:25, right before our first show hit the air. But taking a look at the map, you can see there is one problem area down here in the metro. This is at Bellevue there where 25 intersects with 225. That is causing some delays right now. Around 26 minutes is what we're estimating. Our director Sam actually grabbed us a picture of what this crash looked like when she was driving by at around probably 4 a.m. this morning. That's when the road was just being shut down. CDOT cams aren't giving us a good look at it, but I'll continue to watch it for you.
Well, we're learning more about the FBI raid on former President Trump's Florida resort. Dozens of agents were seen leaving the resort after executing a search warrant at Mar-a-Lago. And this morning, we know it's related to documents Trump took after leaving the White House. ABC's Ike Ajachi has the latest.
This morning, an unprecedented move by the Justice Department. Former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort raided by the FBI. In a statement, Trump confirming the search, saying they even broke into my safe, and claiming his home is currently under siege, raided, and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. Trump was in New York at the time, not Mar-a-Lago. He's seen here leaving Trump Tower Monday night, ignoring questions. Trump later calling into a rally for Sarah Palin, alluding to the events at Mar-a-Lago.
Another day in paradise. This was a strange day.
ABC News confirming the search warrant was executed at 10 a.m. Monday morning, and that it was related to improperly removed documents, some classified from the White House. Overnight, Trump's closest Republican allies slamming the FBI. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy tweeting a statement saying the Department of Justice has reached an intolerable state of weaponized politicization. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene simply tweeting, "Defund the FBI." And Eric Trump joining in.
All of a sudden, on no notice, they sent 20 cars and 30 agents. Sean, I mean, this is just more political persecution of Donald J. Trump.
Although several Republicans are criticizing the search, the head of the FBI, Christopher Wray, is himself a Republican, nominated by Trump. Former FBI agent Stuart Kaplan says we may never hear about what was on the pages of the sealed affidavit.
What was alleged in the affidavit bears out, meaning they retrieved that evidence. It is possible that criminal charges could be filed against the president.
Sources tell ABC News there's been a strong reaction to the raid on extremist and QAnon-related forums, including those that were active before January 6th. Some have been calling for violence and even a civil war. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Washington.
Well, this morning, CDOT is investigating why drainage system pumps did not automatically turn on during heavy rain caused by flooding along the I-70 project. This happened Sunday. The rain flooded that section of the highway, stranding several drivers and their families. 11 people had to be rescued. We spoke with a delivery driver who drove through the area during the flooding.
But there was a lot of cars that they looked like they were bogging down, and I was just like, I'm not stopping. Whatever I do, I'm not stopping, because this thing's just going to turn into a gigantic boat.
In a statement, the contractor working on the project said an error in the drainage pump system appears to have prevented the pumps from turning on automatically. Once this was determined, Kiewit turned the pumps on manually. After the pumps turned on, the area was drained in a short period of time.
Well, we've seen so many of the heroic actions Denver firefighters took during the flooding. In addition to the 11 rescued on the interstate, another 18 people were saved on side streets. One man shot this video as firefighters lifted 2 small children into their arms. One even lifted out a baby who wasn't even crying, fortunately. Denver Fire Lieutenant J.D. Chisholm served on this same water rescue team for years. He says this is what they train for every weekend.
To ensure while he's carrying those kids that he doesn't fall in the water, he's going to walk backwards to make sure that that's the safest method of getting those kiddos out. Anybody who's a parent or who has spent a lot of time with children knows the calmer we can be when we're talking to them, the calmer we can be to distract them from the actual events that are taking place, then we can get them to a safer environment.
Well, we also learned that the firefighter here pulling out the 2 kids, one in each arm, is also a triathlete. So very prepared for this. In a lighter moment, one firefighter also walked out with a pizza and joked, "We got dinner." Right now on the denverchannel.com, we're going in depth on the weekend storms and flooding. We're tracking how much rain fell around the Front Range and comparing it to what we usually see this time of year.
We will learn more today about changes taking place within the Aurora Police Department. The city's consent decree monitor is holding a public meeting to talk about its first oversight report. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us live because good news, the report shows the department is cooperating with these changes.
Yeah, they are, and that report was released just a week ago. Today, the community will have the opportunity to attend that public meeting where they can learn more about the findings and ask any questions. The overall goal here is for the police and fire departments to continue making progress and gain the community's trust. After the Colorado Attorney General found that the police department was engaging in racially biased policing in September of 2021, the city agreed to a consent decree, which is a plan to improve policing and public safety practices. So a monitor is helping Aurora Police and Fire make some big changes to use of force policies, training, bias, and other issues. And the monitor's first report says that police officers and firefighters have been cooperative and interested in implementing changes, but the police department needs to improve trainings and the use of force review board needs to improve investigative practices. There is still a lot of work ahead, but a member of the Community Advisory Council believes that change is already happening.
What I'm hearing in community and what I've even experienced myself with people reaching out to me as a member of the advisory council is that people are saying, when I file a complaint against the Aurora Police Department, it's being taken seriously. Officers are being removed from duty and being taken off the streets.
One of the incidents that prompted this change was the death of Elijah McClain in 2019, and the 5 officers and paramedics that were charged in that case will be in court on Friday. As far as that meeting, that will take place at the Beck Recreation Center tonight at 6:30. Live this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
All right, thank you, Christian. Well, it's back to school today for students in Aurora and Adams 14. Adams 14 has 6,000 students in 13 schools. APS has 63 schools and 38,000 students. Aurora held a community celebration on Sunday. The 14th annual back to school kickoff was a place where families could meet their school's principal, have fun, and also get free backpacks and school supplies. School supplies so expensive this year. Some Colorado teachers we know dip into their own budgets to pay for supplies for their classrooms. Denver 7's Veronica Costa joins us. And Veronica, you found out about what they're up against this year. I know from shopping with my kids, everything was more expensive.
That's exactly it. So many people are up against so much more this year. Markers, crayons, notebooks, I'm sure you know, those are all items that have definitely been on those back to school lists. They have been on those lists for years now, so that hasn't changed. But what has changed this year is those items might have gotten a little bit more expensive, and the amount of money that people have in their bank accounts or saved up to buy those items, it's just not what it used to be. Now, making the decision on what's a necessity this year, what you might be able to hold off on, those are definitely conversations that are happening not only in Colorado, but really all over the country. We spoke with administrators and teachers over at the Cherry Creek School District last week about how they plan on navigating through these situations. One teacher told me he's heading into the school year making sure that he has a couple of extra of those markers and crayons to offer his second graders just in case anyone comes in without one of those items because they had to skip out on it. The district superintendent told me this year they're putting a really big emphasis on helping families get whatever they need as soon as they ask for help.
I would start with your classroom teacher because they know you the best, and then that teacher can have a conversation with the administrator, and then we have different support systems inside of the school district. Right now, when times are tough, finances are tough, that's just something we do.
And Smith also said a lot of school districts like Cherry Creek's, they have different supply drives at schools. That can always be a big help for families. As for teachers who also, like you mentioned, end up buying a lot of their items, pulling from their own pockets to do so. Some districts like Aurora's, they have special foundations where teachers can get some of their supplies from there as well. We're live in Aurora this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Thank you, Veronica. Speaking of cost, if you rent, be warned. New predictions show prices will keep rising across Denver. How much more you could soon be paying.
Let's take a look at this photo here. Does this baby remind you of anyone? The celebrity the internet has dubbed her doppelganger.